It's generation now, right? All right. Welcome back to the Generation Now podcast. I'll be your host today. I'm Ben. This is
Justice.
And this is?
My name is Chelsea.
Yes. Okay. And what do you do? What's your position here at the church?
Well, it's funny that you ask. So my name is Chelsea, and I work here at Living Word on staff, and I work, I guess, like underneath my husband, or he's my boss. So the only time that he ever gets to say he's my boss is when we're at work. But he's amazing, and we work with multiple departments here. We work with like outreach and guest services, prison ministry. There's like 8 ministries underneath him. So, yeah.
Nice. All right. Today, I think we're going to talk a little bit about your faith journey, right?
I guess so.
All right. Well, first we'll say, what's the best part of your job?
The best part of my job, I would say, honestly, working with my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've worked with each other. We've been married for almost 17 years, and we have worked with each other for 17 years. We have always had a job together.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Pretty fun.
So, Justice, how long have you known the Medinas?
I've known the Medinas since I've been a baby, honestly.
Literally.
Yeah,
Yes.
So me and Chelsea, we go back to all the way from Wilmer, Minnesota, because her husband is actually named Baltimore, and that's Griffin's dad. But so my mom and my parents always stay connected with them throughout the years.
Yeah.
So since I was a baby.
Yes, I got pictures of when he was just itty bitty.
You should bring those.
I should bring them.
All right. Well, let's get into the faith journey question.
Okay.
So just tell me about it. How did it start? Where did you come from?
I grew up in church. So my mom and my stepdad had a church when I was young. My stepdad was a pastor, and I just grew up in it. But that doesn't mean that you stay in it.
Right.
So I kind of was always in church. Events, anything like that. Basically, I call it a drug baby. I was drugged to church no matter what. If I wanted to be there or not, we never had a choice. So my faith journey was a journey.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, how like in depth do you guys want me to go?
As far as you want to go.
Okay. So I was homeschooled for majority of my life. Ended up going to a public school. We ended up moving because I got involved with some of the wrong crowds and stuff growing up. And I was always told what my personal relationship with Christ should be like. Never really shown what that is. I had it kind of modeled, but we kind of were that Christian family, and I love my family dearly, but on the outside, we looked like we had it all together, but behind the scenes, things were falling apart. We ended up moving. I ended up getting involved in the wrong crowd, kind of fast forward, ended up graduating high school, and I knew God was tugging me towards ministry, but the world was a little louder. I ended up going to college, and I ended up going along a path and becoming a drug addict. And I was there stuck in that for a few years and stuff until kind of had like an encounter with God, and kind of fast forward, rededicated my life to Christ, and here I am.
Well, that's great. Yeah. That's awesome. That's amazing. What was like your encounter with God like, if you would like to share?
In that moment?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it YouTube friendly. So it was really a light bulb that went in my head, because if I weren't to leave that lifestyle, I probably would have gone missing. Mm-hmm. And I had a praying mom, and I really truly feel in my heart that it was her who, in her prayers and being obedient to what God was telling her, that saved my life. Ended up going back home kind of after a few years and telling them everything what happened, and just The Bible talks about how train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. And I really feel like my parents did the best that they could, training me up in the way that I should go. And when I got old, I didn't depart from it. It was really her prayers and God who saved me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Follow-up question for that is,
Okay.
Do you think being as you said, like a drug baby, like being drugged to church every time, do you think that impacts like positively or negatively on children?
It's how you present it to them. Are you dragging them to church but still showing them what a personal relationship with Christ looks like, or are you just bringing them to church, leaving them at church and go do their own thing, and then you just kind of do your separate thing? Or are they involved in ministry? One thing that we've taught our kids, we have 4. We have Griffin, who is in this internship, and then we have Tirza, who's 15. We got Araya, who is 13, and Lincoln's 9, but we want to show them what ministry is about in a positive way. So we bring them to church, we get them planted and serving and stuff, because we want them to experience it for themselves and not force them.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
That is good.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Okay. Has your life been perfect since you've come to know Christ, or have you had troubles?
Well, from my testimony, absolutely has not been perfect.
Yeah.
But one thing that is amazing about God is He will meet you where you are at. No matter where you are at in your life or that season, or how far you have fallen away, when He calls you, He has called you and He has chosen you, and He will meet you where you are at. So there have been many circumstances in my life where it has not been perfect, but God has always taken my hand and He has always walked with me through those journeys. And I feel like He walks with you because He has to reveal to you things along the way that you need to either change or need to grow in.
Okay. That's good. I've seen you guys go through a couple things recently, and you came out on top. That's good.
Yeah, and you just keep on keeping on.
Yeah. You especially, I guess, because know about that. I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but
we just have had some crazy challenges in the last few years. My husband was diagnosed with stomach cancer, and he is cancer-free, praise God. And then I had my health scare with cancer. I had surgery in October, and our daughter is walking through some stuff right now as well with her kidneys, but God is faithful.
that's good. How have you gotten through those tough seasons?
Really cleaving to Him and what His promises, and reminding God what His word says. Being transparent. We have always taught our kids, be real with yourself, be real with God. He's a big God. He can take when you're mad. He can take when you're sad, when you're frustrated. But it's really important that you don't remain there and you keep on pressing forward. So we've just gotten through them with Him. I couldn't imagine going through the things that we have gone through without God. It would have been absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have any follow-up questions for that one?
Not on that part, but that was really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Has God just been like showing you things in those seasons too? Like just like specific things, or kind of generally like?
I would say generally, kind of like how I mentioned how God like takes my hand and walks me through. A lot of the times, especially when it comes to like personal healing, for instance, I personally have not really ever seen an instantaneous healing, though I do know it happens, so I'm not saying that it doesn't. But for me personally, I feel like my healing is coming along the way with Him holding my hand and walking me through things, because if He were to heal me right then and right there are probably things in my life that I needed to change. And if it happens right then and there, I'll probably revert back to those things in my life that I need to change. And I'll be right back at square one. So Him holding my hand, walking me along, showing and revealing to me the things in my life that need to be healed and changed. And then you kind of get your healing as you go, as the journey comes.
That's good. Yeah, I've heard some people say that you default back to the basic setting, so you're always trying to make the basic setting better.
Yep.
Is that kind of that's what you would say you were doing?
Yep.
That's good. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do have a couple. I was wondering, for like through your testimony and like the hardships that you've been through, what are some like key principles that you've learned, like that like kind of like God's revealed to you, or like core values that you hold on to?
It's going to be different, obviously, for everybody. So I always, especially with our kids, find out who God is for you, because your journey is going to be different than other people. For I know your journey has been kind of trying, as you got older and stuff. It's going to be different than Ben's journey. Yeah. But still like remaining in him and renewing your mind daily. It is so important. Even as an adult, I've struggled with this, is renewing my mind daily. Do I want to hit that snooze button and sleep in extra 10 minutes, or should I be getting up and spending time with God? Don't make it a religious practice, but make sure it's in your heart, the heart posture. It's just being consistent in the ways that he is calling you to do. Things that have helped me is I have to force myself to do it. Not all the time am I going to want to get up and spend time in the Word, but I know the benefits of it and how much better I feel, and I'm feeding my spirit man. This morning in prayer, even this morning, it's like God gave me a vision of all of us just standing there, and he's like a big vase, because we're renewing our mind daily. We're soaking him in, and it was like he was taking this vase and he was dumping in, it was like balls of light almost, into each and every one of us. And as he like dumped those balls of light into us, we lit up, and out of that sprung forth new life, because it's important. Things are going to get hit rock bottom. If you have never had any trials in your life, trust me, they will come. But it's what you do with those that is important.
That's good. I've been kind of making it a challenge to myself to like figure out if I'm really seeking God first every day too, and like when I have free time, what am I doing instead of like spending time with God? So yeah, it's been eye-opening to say the least, but how did you meet Pastor Baltimore?
That's a great question. Yeah, that is a good question.
We met at youth camp. So it is possible. I don't recommend it. I do not recommend going to youth camp and looking for a guy, looking for a girl, because that's not what it was. We met at youth camp, and we were just friends, though. We were friends. Your dad was there. Their friend Berto was there and stuff. And we were just friends. And we lost touch for 5 years. And then it was up until January of 2008, he was performing at Battle of the Bands at Club 3 Degrees, downtown Minneapolis. And I ended up going there. And then literally the rest is history.
Wow.
I know you mentioned a little bit with like ministry with your family, but like, could you kind of like dive deep into that? Like, what does that look like, being like having a relationship with God, and also with, the family? Like, I know Baltimore's in ministry, you're in ministry. So what does like the household look like, or like?
It looks like a normal household. We're all human. We all fall short. We get mad in the mornings, get mad at our kids. But it's really important just doing life together. And knowing that our kids, knowing that we support them, my husband knowing that I support him, and then vice versa, because ministry can be demanding of your time, but being intentional and taking that time for your family, because we all know it's God, your family, and then ministry, right. And keeping that mindset, because if you prioritize it right, your children will also have a better attitude about it.
Yeah, that's really good. Another question I could ask off that, like, I don't know the full story of how you got connected here with
Living Word.
Yeah, Living Word.
So my husband, there was a church downtown called The Wells. He was the youth pastor that was down there. Okay. So we had a lot of inner city kids. A lot of the teens that we had were gangbangers. They either were homeless or coming from homes with parents that were addicts. But we actually would get up every single morning I know, well, I shouldn't say we. My husband got up every single morning, and he'd go pick up all those kids and make his round like 6 o'clock in the morning and make sure all of them were at church. And then what happened was the building was super old, so it kind of started deteriorating. They moved him to the mothership. In 2016, I had a major surgery where I couldn't work for a year. And then it was 2017 where a position here at Living Word opened up, and it's called our processing center. It's kind of like the center of the hive for this place.
Yeah.
And I ended up applying for it. I said I would never work in a cubicle. I ended up working in a cubicle. But that's okay, because God knew exactly where I needed to be in this time of our lives. And I really feel like it was this place, the people here, that also helped us along a lot of the trials and the journeys that we have gone through the last few years. So then I don't know, my husband just kind of came over from the little church, and then we ended up started working together, and now we're working together again.
Yeah, that's
Here we
awesome.
are.
Wow.
So,
All right, well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
peace.